Narwhals? Yeah, they're the Jedi of the sea. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Today we're going to talk about Datacron Set 12, the top 5 things. There's actually a couple squads here that aren't going to be in the infographic, so I encourage you to watch the video instead of just skipping the video and looking at the infographic. I know most of you are busy looking at the infographic, but that is on my Discord server. You can find a link to it in my video description. It's in the channel called Infographics. Surprisingly, it's toward the bottom, and share it if you want, guys. Keep it to yourself, whatever. I mean, I'm sure your wife would probably want to take a look at it. This is my humble opinion. Or if you do have pet goats or something that want to take a gander, like we've been talking about, guys, seems like the thing to do. So go check that out. And otherwise, folks, real quick, let's say huge shout out to my patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all of the support, guys. I truly couldn't do this without you guys at all. And yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And folks, just a reminder, if you want to support this channel for free, all you've got to do is hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, comment. We're trying to get to 20,000 by the end of the year, and that will take everyone to help. Please, I would really appreciate it, guys. I already appreciate you guys, one way or another. 20,000 is a goal, and I hope we can make it. That being said, let's get to the actual stuff about infographics. I mean, it's not infographics, it's about Datacron. It's about set 12 is the purple one. They would just cycle through the different colors, would taste the rainbow, all that. This is a specialist set, folks, which means that with there's 4 factions, but really they're not big factions at all. Like Hut Cartel is one squad, basically. I mean, there's other characters that you might want to use for it, but for the most part, Hut Cartel, I mean, most of them are actually just also scoundrels. They're just also happen to be Hut Cartel as well. I think the only one that isn't a scoundrel, he's a smuggler, because he smuggles treats in his folds, I think, is Jabba the Hutt. Randomly, he's a smuggler, but not a scoundrel. Otherwise, Jawas, a lot of people aren't going to even have relic Jawas. Tuskens, some people are going to have relic Tuskens, but you only need one team, guys. The other team is going to be really weak in 3v3, and you don't want to split Tuskens up. So the scoundrels are the ones that probably are going to warrant more attention. So that's something to just keep in mind as we move through it, guys. So the stats on this one are total garbage. Usually they have they have crit chance, but they don't have that for they don't split it up. They have physical crit chance and special crit chance. It's already a very questionable stat. It's not that good to begin with, but the fact that they're splitting it into physical and special, it just creates more of a headache than we need. I mean, I guess granted, it'd be kind of like special crit chance is okay in some circumstances because they boosted the numbers. It looks like you can get a decent crit chance for some of these teams. Like Night Sisters don't necessarily crit very often because they're mostly special damage, etc. But I mean, the 2 stats that you probably want to look at, and that are still, it's like embarrassingly bad, are the armor pen and the resistance pen. Remember, armor pen is only for people who deal physical damage, and resistance pen are for people who only do special damage. So like Boosh does special damage, so you want resistance, or Jedi Knight Luke does physical damage, so you want armor pen. But the fact is, set 12, you only get a maximum, and you're not going to roll this, but if you did get perfect numbers somehow, you get a maximum of 120%. Same with resistance pen. In set 10, the one that's just about to disintegrate, it might have already disintegrated by the time you've watched this video, that one, we just had a crazy amount of armor pen. The maximum was 440%, and it was okay. It was a fine I like that stat. Armor pen is pretty good. 440% is awesome. 120% is barely worth mentioning, in my opinion, guys. It's okay, but you have to work really hard. You have to work really hard to just get an okay amount that's even worth mentioning. So 3 crons that you really can't afford to miss if you have these squads, folks, is, first off, if you have Jabba, do yourself a huge favor and get the Boosh cron. You can see the stats here. It's very, very important that you get this because it's going to kill so much stuff. It'll defend itself really well on defense, but if you have to kill Leia, you just hit auto and you get max banners against Leia, even with the really cool Drogon cron that will still be in circulation because it's in set 11. The Afra cron, I'd made a video about this. A lot of people were like, really? You have to farm this? Why do you keep telling us that we have to farm her, but then we also have to not farm her because you know, she's last on the list of priorities? Here's the thing, guys. It is a crazy fun Datacron. That's probably one of the most enjoyable that I've ever played with. There's a few others that might contend with it, but the fact is, every time a droid goes, she takes a bonus turn, and she just cycles through her abilities, increasing your cooldowns, healing droids, reviving droids sometimes, really boosting that commando droid. It is a crazy fun Datacron, and I want you to be able to use it, guys. You'll be able to delete a lot of teams, Lord Vader teams, a lot of Lord Vader teams you can beat. Jabba, you can even, I've seen people be able to beat Jedi Master Kenobi teams. That takes a little bit. You probably need some extra speed on characters. Anyways, it's really good. Then the third one, folks, is, remember, Commander Ahsoka Tano is a scoundrel. So there's a scoundrel one that on level 6 prevents revives, and so if you're countering one of these Jabba crons, being able to just instantly defeat Chrysanthemum and then not have to re-kill him, then everyone can just target Boosh and take her out, seems like a pretty good idea in my opinion, folks. So those are the 3 that you really can't afford to miss. There are a few other good ones. Go check out the infographic, of course, if you want those. And then I haven't showed you the teams, though, that I want to be able to show you to make sure you don't miss them. So the best abilities, though, if you want to spam them, I would say that in general you want to just use set 11 and use the level 3 that gives you all the buffs on basic. But if you want to use these ones, guys, and they're not terrible, it's just tough to pull off. Level 3 is a little bit challenging to pull off because you have to have at least 2 buffs that can be dispelled on a character when they start their turn. Then they gain 5% offense. If 5% offense is cool, you're not going to notice just 5%. You need to do this consistently. This is for a team that takes a lot of turns and slowly ramps up and is able to do a lot of damage. I mean, this would actually be an okay thing to use with Phoenix, for instance. Phoenix have just finished getting rid of, I think it's a 10% ramping thing, but the problem is people can... it's not just, you don't get it automatically, you have to have 2 buffs that can be dispelled, and because they can be dispelled, your opponents are going to try to dispel them, and so level 3 isn't super consistent. I think it's the best of the other ones. I mean, they're all like, okay, but nothing too crazy. The 2 that I think are probably the ones that we're going to spam the most over the course of time is the Scoundrel ability to just do, to get an extra turn after they do a basic, they just get a bonus turn, and that works really well with the Afra team. That works really well with like a CLS team. You're not going to want a CLS team to use this one until set 11 is gone. Set 11 is amazing for your CLS team that can kill all kinds of stuff with that damage reduction for rebels. But once that cron set is scrapped, you're probably going to want this one because Han goes first. He shoots his basic and immediately gets another turn, just instantaneously, and he just like burns through, gets a ton of turns in a row. You might want to use this just to be able to counter that Afra team. Actually, guys, if it's on defense, you're probably going to want this instead of the damage reduction one, potentially. And then finally, the Scoundrels no revive. We already talked about that with Commander Ahsoka Tano. There's a few other good uses for it. Every once in a while, it's like, well, do we really want to... You can go in and just snipe out Night Sisters, for instance, if that's an issue. Or, you know, if you're facing Inquisition and you want to kill Reva, you just instant kill her. So there's a few different cool uses for that level 6. I mean, Jedi Master Kenobi with Cat is going to use that as well. So those are the ones that I would say are going to be spammed the most. There's some other good abilities, but they're just one-offs for the most part. Now finally, the interesting squads that I think you're not going to want to miss, or potentially going to be really good. First off, we have this Fennec squad with bounty hunters, and you'll notice that we don't have Bosk because we don't have a tank, and this is to counter Lord Vader. The idea is if you put Zam in the squad, you make Grief really fast, and he'll be able to, so Lord Vader will still go, Maul will go, he'll, do his AoE, and then hopefully Grief will be the next guy up. He'll be able to cleanse all those debuffs, and then Mando, the problem with this strategy before is that Mandalorian is not able to do his snipe ability. Even once he gets his contract, he has to cycle through because he needs to do one shot. Like, he has to be able to shoot one time. And so what you can do with this one, though, guys, if you leave the level 6 with Scoundrels, you're able to, once you finally get to turn, you're like, oh, I have my contract, but I can't snipe someone. But then he can just do a basic and instantly get another turn. He gets a bonus turn, but he'll have the buff from doing that basic, and then he can snipe someone. So in theory, you can actually just do pretty well, even without that Bosk lead, or not Bosk lead, but just Bosk in there to call the mass assist. So you can have Zam, so you can outspeed the rest of the team and snipe someone dear to them before Maul gets his huge barrage. Second, the thing I really want to try, guys, and you've seen me, if you watch me live, go watch me live on Twitch, guys. There's a link in the video description. Go click on that. It's free. You can watch me live. It's a lot of fun. Get notifications for it and everything. But I use this dash team a lot, and Hondo is a big part of it. He ramps damage pretty nicely. However, if you want to play this one, you can do the level 3 ramping because Scoundrels are all light side. So actually, Hondo doesn't get ramping damage, but everyone else would. But then if you put Young Han in, which I recognize he is a niche character. He's not required for anything, so don't feel like you have to do it. But then Veteran Han, everyone's got a Relic 3 Veteran Han if you've done the right Galactic Legend farms and everything. And Veteran Han has a level 9, so you'd have to bring him to Relic 5, but the level 9 also ramps his damage up to 200%, plus he gets Armor Pen alongside it. And the thing about this is, guys, Dash is constantly doing his basic, calling at least 3 people to assist, so almost all of them are assisting. Not to mention Young Han is just assisting all the time. He ramps damage anyways, but with his Zeta and with Dash's Omicron, you're going to be ramping the whole team quite a bit, and I'm very curious to see what the upper limits of this is. Yes, you're missing out on Queel's huge offense boost, but you're doing a lot of other cool stuff on this squad. I want to try it. There's no tank, maybe it won't work. Maybe neither of these squads will work, but those are the 2 interesting squads that I'm excited to try playing, other than the obvious. So, guys, let me know what you think of this new format. I would love to hear it. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.